I just became quietly more assertive. If you weren't raised or your culture is different than American culture, it could be expected that you would laugh in awkward or even offensive situations. So I received a comment on a recent video that I felt important to address. This person, I think they should feel seen and heard. And that comment is a special reminder that culture does play a real role in how people pleasing shows up, especially for those of us who didn't fully grow up or were not raised in the United States. So in many cultures, including across parts of Asia, of which I myself am multicultural, laughing in awkward moments is actually really common. It can be a learned safety, and it is often expected so that way you won't offend anybody. However, when that meets the louder, more dominant, sometimes cruder American social styles, it can be seen as or misunderstood as passive or naive. But it doesn't negate the fact that you might feel something in your body. So this is what I mean. I mean to say this clearly. There's nothing wrong with you for having that reflex. But when you're noticing that certain people talk in ways that feel off or offensive to you, you're allowed to notice that feeling inside of your body. I'm Jacqueline, and this video is part of my 365-day Self-Trust Salve. This is a series where we learn to reconnect with our true north. And we reconnect not through confrontation, not through some overnight change, but through small body or somatic-based moments of noticing and choosing. This series also invites us to come back to one place first. That's the body. The body always knows first. So even if you're used to laughing to smooth things over, even if that's how you learn to stay safe or accepted, if you notice tightness, a contraction, feeling small, or even a quiet no inside, you're allowed to notice that. Please notice that. You're allowed to feel that you weren't comfortable. And without judgment and without needing to change everything right away, you're allowed to notice. Where people often get stuck is believing that noticing means they have to be confrontational. They've got to correct someone in the moment. But self-trust doesn't require that. Not all the time. Sometimes the most self-respecting choice happens later. Maybe next time you excuse yourself. Or maybe next time you don't stay as long. Maybe you choose not to put yourself in that environment again. There are quiet and subtle ways to make micro adjustments, even if you were raised to believe laughter was the only way to stay safe or accepted. I want you to know I've done this too. Laughing just to keep things smooth. Laughing so no one feels uncomfortable. So I have an example for you. I used to play golf during university, during uni, and I was also employed at a golf course. And there was a handful of men who played in tournaments, certain types of tournaments, who could be very crass towards me and other women. They were drinking too much and talking about inappropriate or rude things. And I remember laughing one time at a joke that after I left, I immediately felt that ick feeling. It just felt gross. And the next time, I didn't laugh. And as a matter of fact, I excused myself from the area. And I felt nervous doing that. But later, I chose to not be in those situations and ask if I could be removed from the schedule anytime that kind of tournament was about. When that kind of tournament came around again. So it worked out beautifully. I didn't get aggressive. I didn't make a scene. I just became quietly more assertive in small ways that honored me. And sometimes it's just that simple. It's easier than we think. If you don't like what you're watching on TV, on the telly, you're allowed to change the channel. But in the end, I didn't need to become a new person. I just needed to give myself permission to notice that didn't feel right. a permission to remove myself from situations that didn't feel respectful. This entire series is about making small changes, not overnight transformation, not becoming an entirely different person tomorrow. Just choosing again and again to honor yourself 1% more than you did yesterday. And that might look like leaving earlier, choosing different company, trusting your discomfort, that intuition that feels odd, without explaining it away, or not feeling obligated to smooth it. Those are all signals we're allowed to listen to. You don't have to stop laughing. You don't have to confront anyone. You don't have to change your culture or your personality. Just notice what your body is telling you and let that noticing guide you into your next small choice. That is self-trust. I am no longer available for minimizing myself just to stay safe. And remember, your body is your one lifelong companion. Smile as you look after it.